episode of At Home with Haw. Today we're going to be discussing our information technology program with Renard Spratling, our department head. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm well. We've got a couple questions for you.
Okay.
So I guess we'll get started. The first question, Renard, just tell us a little bit about the information technology program.
So one of the things one of the ways I like to explain our program and what we do, if you really think about it, every person, every company, every organization, some kind of way is going to be using technology.
Absolutely.
So we try to set that context so people can see, or our students can see, it's not just, okay, we're going to teach you how to use this tool or write this code or build this tech.
Right.
It's about how you can use technology to meet a need or solve a problem. And even if somebody's coming from another field, or they may not be purely interested in technology, looking at how technology can relate to or enhance or make better or improve what they are interested in. So technology is for everybody. And there's different levels of expertise that someone can pursue. So what we do have 4 different areas that we cover. It's information technology, business support. I don't want to get too technical, but that deals with things like fixing computers. When everybody, and I just dropped my phone the other day and the screen's cracked, or I lost my internet connection, whatever it might be, the people you call or you reach out to, and they help to fix the problems, whether it's the physical aspects or it's what's the software, the things that run on the devices. So that's kind of that area. We deal with cybersecurity, we deal with networking, making sure the computers can communicate and get online, we deal with all that, programming, coming up with the apps and software, websites. Yeah, so the whole gamut.
Definitely an important skill to have.
Right.
Oh my gosh, this day and age.
Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about a little bit what's in the program. If students were to enroll in information technology, what would a typical day look like?
So,
depending on maybe what they study.
So part of the answer, there's no typical day.
Okay.
And I say that intentionally because when you get out into the workforce in the technology world, like a lot of fields, you never know what's going to happen on a particular day. You never know what type of, if it is a help desk environment, what type of ticket you might get, or what type of major problem someone may call about that could change your entire day, or what type of cybersecurity hack may happen, and everybody has to drop everything they're doing and get on board. So we embrace unexpected, and we use it as a teaching tool. But in general, though, it's not plopping down in front of a computer and watching videos and doing assignments. We try to introduce, first and foremost, logical thinking and problem solving. Not immediately jump into, okay, here's how you create this or how you use this tool. It's more about that. So what you'll experience, we have online environments, we have in person, but students are going to be using a lot of the same types of tools and technologies and systems that they will use in industry. So exactly. But at the same time, something that some others may have preconceptions about concerning community college versus a 4-year institution is the concept of theory versus the hands-on application. We actually integrate both. So not only are we teaching you how to write a computer program or fix a computer, but you're also learning about the larger concepts of how this fits in the world, or why we do these things. Why, if you change this one thing here, how it impacts not only the larger system, but the company or the organization, or why you can't get the funding right now for this particular grand idea you have. So.
And overall, I think you're getting into the experience there. Like, students are getting into, these fields, or they're going to have that knowledge when they're interviewing for these positions.
Absolutely.
This isn't going to be anything like new to them because it's so hands-on.
Right. So just for example, yes, we do have structured classes. I don't want to give a false impression that we don't have, but yes, we do have structured classes and curriculum that students follow, whether it's online or in person. But we also provide a lot of other options. We do a lot of project-based work within our classes, but we also afford many other opportunities. For example, there are lots of our classes where students can also be prepared for industry certification exams. So not only can they earn credentials from college, but they can also earn highly recognized industry credentials from companies like Cisco and Microsoft, So things like that. Also, we give opportunities for students to be involved in contests and competitions. We bring in speakers from industry, whether it's in person or online, virtual sessions, things of that sort. So we have a very active IT club. So if students want to be engaged, and the IT club is doing things virtually and in person as well. So we pull out the bots we have, where they can take those apart and build them and program them to do all types of things. So we have all types of things that students can be exposed to give them experience and exposure outside of just the structured class.
And be a very well-rounded, marketable student.
Absolutely.
So that's our goal. Okay, well, my last question is, what types of job opportunities would a graduate of this program be qualified for?
So I mentioned some already. In our IT business support program, that degree, if a student is looking to go directly into the workforce versus transferring to a 4-year, that kind of caters towards, as I mentioned, computer repair type of work, help desk. That is a great starting position.
Well, think about how many colleges have help desks, how many companies have help desks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, some of our students have actually gone to work at our information support staff here at the college. So that's a perfect example. The next, I would say the most popular there, because of all the news we're hearing, is our cybersecurity program. And students in that program will be prepared for jobs in what's called like a security operations center, or a SOC, not SOC, but basically, somebody's going to remember that. So basically, that essentially it's almost like the first line of defense, where they're monitoring traffic, they're looking to see what type of activity is happening, and then something stands out, like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. Let me raise a flag here, and then it's essentially like a triage unit, where they have to raise a flag and escalate up and partner and team up to say, okay, is this a problem? Is this something we need to do? But they have to have the knowledge in order to be able to recognize and monitor that. So that's kind of what cybersecurity degree would prepare for. Our programming area, students will be prepared for things like software development, where they're actually writing programs, actual programming jobs, junior programming, things of that sort. Also, something that a lot of people don't think about is testers. You have to understand a little bit about programming in order to actually test it effectively in some cases. So that is a very in-demand job, because I'm sure you and anybody else, when you get a new app or you're working with some program, it's like, why didn't they fix this before they launched it? You know, somebody should have caught this, right? So testers are very important. So things of that sort. Also, lastly, in our web development program, obviously learning about developing websites, developing mobile apps, and not just what they look like, but there's so much that takes place on the back end, and they actually can start in those jobs with that degree.
Well, this has been all great information. We have a stellar information technology program, and there's lots that you can get involved in and lots of opportunity for you to be successful. Bernard, thank you for speaking with us today about this. If at any time you'd like to visit ACC and see the department or get to meet with Bernard, talk to students, we'd be happy to set that up with you.
So what's one thing that's interesting, and you know this, we often try to encourage students to pursue any of the options that are out there based on their interest and longer term goals. So how did you kind of make that choice to pursue transferring to a 4-year institution versus immediately trying to go into the workforce?
I've seen in a lot of situations where a lot of jobs where they need that bachelor, they say, oh, we want that bachelor's degree. I've had plenty of interviews. I actually interviewed for Lytle here in Mebane. And I did like 3 or 4 interviews with them. And at the very last one, they're like, oh, so where'd you get your degree? And I'm like, I don't have my bachelor's degree. I never stated I had it or anything. But they're like, oh,
it was an assumption.
Yeah, they assumed I had it. I was like, no, I just know how to do it because I've taught myself. I was self-taught at home and stuff like that at that time. So for me to have to continue my education, I feel like it's just something I have to do to be able to proceed or how to move up in the workforce. I feel like a lot of places are requiring that, in all honesty.
So that's an interesting point. So you're saying a potential employer, based on what you've taught yourself and what you've learned here, they assumed that you already had bachelor's level training and education. Wow, I think that says a lot. I don't necessarily want to use the term barrier, But it can be a barrier not having that credential,
Yes.
but having the knowledge. There are a lot of companies that are sort of starting to shift their perspective. You might hear terms like grads of life kind of thing,
Yes.
or maybe non-traditional students, things like that, where they're kind of saying, let's not just look at just the bachelor's. Let's just look at what they actually know, and if they can do the job, if they have the knowledge we're looking for, fine. You know, so that is a trend that we're seeing, and that's why we try to offer a lot more than just, okay, you can get this degree, this associate's degree, this 2-year degree, you can get this diploma, you can get this certificate. That's why we try to do things like the industry certifications, as you know about, this industry certification exams and all that, as well as providing a pathway to the 4-year schools, because we know that's a very viable option.
I've had all kinds of things where they say, redo your whole resume. Don't just add in a whole bunch of fillers. Some places want to know if you've entered in competitions, stuff like that. If you did, they want to see how well you placed. And I've actually tried to start revising my resume completely, because I had stuff on there that at the end I was like, it may be considered filler. I have started looking at more certifications. And as far as continue my education, there are some fields that you do have to continue, because the field's always changing.
Absolutely.
It's constantly changing at all times. They come out with new technology, and to continue your education with school is a good way to get hands-on experience in some places where your job provider may not be able to give you that hands-on experience, and you may not be able to experience a situation or an issue that you may come across later on if you didn't do it in school or something.
Right. So you mentioned competitions, and you know where I'm going with this. And you do a lot in our department, and I truly appreciate that. You're very involved, and we encourage and try to provide opportunities for students to get involved and engage outside of just the classroom. But tell me more about the competitions that you participate in.
So I've done the NCL, cybersecurity. We really enjoy doing them. They do them maybe about twice, maybe 3 times a year. And 2 of them are team-based, and then 1 of them is individual. You've got all things going on from decryption. You have to bypass some protocols. I've seen where they have to do like SQL injection to get information out of websites. They've got all kinds of stuff. We would use Discord. We would all get into a Discord call like on a weekend, try and work on it for maybe a couple hours, 2-3 hours, whenever people could. Obviously, everyone's got different times that they can and can't do it.
Right.
If you do find a way to answer a question, you just put it in Discord, hey, look, I found it this kind of way, so that the next person, oh, I didn't know how to do it, but now I know, they can learn, and next time they go in, if they come across that issue, they can do it. They know where to look it up.
Yeah.
But it's a great thing. I really enjoy it. Like, it's fun.
So what's amazing is, of course, we have an advisory board for our overall department, but we also have an advisory board specific to our cybersecurity program. We're a Center of Academic Excellence underneath the umbrella of the National Security Agency. So we have an advisory board of industry professionals that work in the cybersecurity field. And when we let them know that some of our students participate in the National Cyber League, they lit up and they were so excited, and they looked at the rigor and the report that you get at the end, and it measures and gives you a report of the criteria that you've met and the type of skills you've demonstrated as a contestant or a participant in the contest. They said each of these categories is what employers look for in the cybersecurity field. And it gives you an aptitude score in each of those areas. So having that to be able to present to a potential employer it speaks volume. And the fact that you're using Discord or any other type of online tool to communicate, that's standard in industry, even exactly using Discord. So you all are getting very good exposure, and that's pretty much real world experience that you can talk about in your interviews and share with employers.
Finish up.
Yeah. Well, it's been truly a pleasure having you in our department. You have been not only a wonderful student, but you've been a big asset to the department with what you've done with the IT club, with the competitions, even opportunities like this to be able to share your experience with others, and just all the ways you willingly helped out. So, and that's going to take you far as you continue on, not just in your academic journey, but in your professional experience, whether you're pursuing professional employment or starting your own business, whatever that may be. That's going to carry a lot of weight. Being willing to go beyond your basic responsibilities, learn new things, be a bigger asset, you know, it's going to help you to learn and grow. Stay involved even once you get to the 4-year school. Once you get into your workplace, stay connected, be involved, share your skills, learn, soak it all up. And that's going to help make a big difference. But it's been a pleasure. Much success to you along your journey.
Thank you,
Always know we're here for you, and you can reach out anytime.
All right, so now we will be speaking with one of our current information technology students, David. David, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I've got a couple questions for you. So the first one, and I'm sure you'll have lots to talk about. What interested you in joining this program?
Oh, I've had all kinds of reasons why I would love to join this, or why I did join into this program. Started off from a very early age, just playing with computers. I love technology. I was a little iffy at first because it was just a hobby I really enjoyed, but after talking with other tech experts, they all kind of told me that even when you go to work in that kind of field,
right,
you don't lose the enjoyment, the love for doing stuff like that, working on tech and stuff. So I gave it a shot, and yeah, I still really enjoy it. I love it. I don't look at it so much as a job or anything.
Oh, well, that's a great thing.
It's just something fun to do on my off times and while I'm there. So it's just something. It ain't too bad. I enjoy it.
So eventually, you're going to get paid doing what you love.
Yes,
that's the greatest thing.
That's the plan.
Okay, so well, what are your plans after graduation? What do you plan on doing with your degree?
So as soon as I graduate with my associates this year, I do plan to continue learning, going off into my bachelor's and stuff.
Okay.
However, I do look to try and apply to different jobs out there in the field, just to try and get my foot in the door in more places and get more knowledge. Because sometimes there is some things that you have to be more hands-on. You have to work in the field to learn it. In all honesty. And that's kind of what I'm planning to do.
Okay.
Just kind of reach out, look at other jobs and stuff like that.
Getting that experience, right? Okay, great. All right, so if you have any words of advice for students who are thinking about enrolling in this program, what would you share with them?
Oh man, there will be lots and lots of frustration. That you will be so frustrated with things all the time. You have to take it slow and easy. Don't rush into it. Especially when you're programming. If you're programming like an app or anything, I had to do it for one of my classes, and I was being driven crazy because I couldn't get certain things to work. And I took a break for maybe 2-3 days, stepped away from it, came back, and come to find out it was just a small little error in my code. And I was like, oh, I could not have figured this out, could I?
Right, okay.
But yeah, you want to take it easy and don't rush into it. It's a lot to take in.
Okay. And anything that you've really enjoyed, or a favorite thing about the program for you personally?
So the one thing I would say I definitely enjoyed is whenever I joined the IT club, I enjoyed kind of building the bots that we have here that allows us to play around with them and kind of get hands-on experience. We've had some people come in who have never messed with anything like that, never done anything. And it's just to see them play around with it, learn. You get more knowledge based off it, and then you figure out, oh yeah, this is definitely something I really want to get into.
Right. Does somebody need, because I know you said you enjoyed like building the bots and everything, do you recommend students kind of have experience like working with computers or any kind of experience going into this program, or can you just like learn like that coming in? And
so it's not so much that you would say you need to have experience or that you have to have the drive for it. It is something that you can play around with and kind of learn as you go. It just depends on which field you're trying to jump into, in all honesty. There's plenty of fields out there. Personally, I would say maybe Python is the easiest. I would say pick one language that you want to learn in and just stay with that, learn it very well, and then move on. Don't try and learn a little bit of this and then jump to a whole nother one, because a lot of times they work very differently, and then you'll start messing up and giving errors here and there. But yeah, I would say you don't have to be very knowledgeable to kind of play around with them and build them and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I am not a computer programmer, so I'll take your word for it. David, thanks for spending some time with us today and talking to us about your current experience, and good luck to you in your future, okay?
Thank you. It was nice being here.
Thank you. And now we'll be speaking with one of our other current students in the information technology program, Jessica. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, got a couple questions for you. So just first off, what interested in you in joining this program?
Well, when I was in high school, you get asked a lot, what's for your favorite class? What are you enjoying? And when it came time to decide what I wanted to go to college for, I realized that I'd always answered with the computer classes. So it was something I enjoyed, and I'd like to do something like that.
Okay, cool. Are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good. So where are you currently at in the program? First semester, second year, first year?
I'll be transferring to UNCG in the fall.
Oh, very good. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So what are your plans? Well, I guess you're going to be transferring. What are your plans after you finish at ACC, and what do you want to do with your degree through, going on to UNCG and everything?
Yeah, so I plan to transfer next semester, as I said, and then just look for internships, look for jobs, and see what happens.
Okay. Is there a specific area in the information technology program that you're working on, or degree, or, well, I guess kind of like what you're focusing on more?
I'm thinking about focusing in cybersecurity, but
Okay.
I'm still not sure.
Okay. But you like everything,
Yeah.
pretty much. Okay, cool. All right, well, you've been successful, sounds like, since you're transferring to UNCG after, and that's awesome. There may be some students down the road who do the same thing as you. So what words of advice would you share with someone that's considering enrolling in the program?
There's a lot to suggest, but honestly, I would suggest to get involved, whether it's a club or a competition, even if it's something that you might not be interested in, chances are that you'll learn something really useful.
Okay. Give it a shot. Meet
Yeah.
others, get to talk with others about it. Okay. Very good. And have you had anything that's been your favorite so far in the program, or anything you really, really enjoyed?
Well, when I joined the IT club, one of the activities they were doing was the NCL competition, which is a cybersecurity challenge.
Okay.
And that basically, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do cybersecurity before I did it, but it was like, okay, we need people to join the team.
Right.
And once I did it, I realized that I actually liked that
Oh.
and enjoyed it.
So it's all about just trying it out. Very good. Okay, well, I'm glad there's been lots of opportunities for you here at ACC, and congrats to you and good luck at UNCG.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching today's episode of At Home with Haw, featuring our information technology program. If you'd like to visit us at all anytime to learn more about this program, feel free to reach out, and we'll see you next time at Home with Haw.